Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ken. I'm also known as the Phoenix. Today is Monday, March 11th at the time of this recording, and I feel in my bones that today is going to be a special day. Now, I don't know what exactly to expect. I think this might be the crux where we make our decision. At least that's what I'm feeling. There's a lot of potential for multiple different outcomes happening today, stemming from this point. What we do with those decisions, how we handle our energies, and this comes just based off intuition. I've talked about this multiple times in the past, but I don't follow one person. I don't follow people claiming to be holy or connected or anything. I listen to a lot of stuff, and I sit there and I ponder it, and I then commune with spirit, and from there I will either gain insights or I will receive nothing. And essentially that's how I can tell what is resonating and what doesn't, and that will guide me forward. And, I talk about fear. I talk about changing, how change is inevitable. Everything even on a long enough time frame, even our lives are completely temporary. And being an infinite being, I am definitely not afraid of passing on, of dying. I've connected to family members that have passed away. They've become sort of guardian spirits, if you will, for me. I've done a channeling before where I sensed my mother's presence. Like, she physically manifested in my room. I felt her walk around the edge of the bed where I was laying and channeling. I had a blindfold on and my headset on while I was listening to some binaural beats, and I felt her presence manifest at my feet, come around the edge of the bed, and then sit down on the bed. And I felt the bed sink down, like ever so slightly, but I did feel that. So at that point, her message, that was a couple months ago, her message simply was that everything's going to be okay and that time is soon approaching. And I keep getting the same message that it is coming, it is here, and it will be here sooner than I think, but also that there is nothing to fear. I know change is scary, but how we handle that fear, how we manage stress, will ultimately determine what we put out and what we experience, because the split is happening. Some people will probably believe full-heartedly and full well that they will experience an apocalyptic event. Everyone's talking about the eclipse coming up. A lot of religious folks out there believe that this is the end times, but that is a theme that has constantly happened time and again throughout my entire life, anyhow. And from what I hear, it's happened time and again, way before. A lot of people believe that, no, the time is here, time is nigh, world is ending. And my parents knew someone who sold their house and completely gave up their lives because they believed the world was ending in a couple of days from that point, and it didn't. Now, I don't know if they ever saw them again, and it's interesting to think about if all possibilities exist and we're manifesting our own realities, that perhaps they manifested the apocalypse and they actually experienced that themselves. One could contemplate that, but as there's no actual evidence of that happening, you could also believe that, they probably just didn't feel like returning back to that area and being known as the crazy people, so they just bought another house. You could definitely think that was feasible. And it's not one of those things. I don't like making predictions. I don't like saying what is going to happen. Now, when I say I don't like making predictions, I know this completely follows up what I had just said about how I think the split is happening now, the convergence is here, and we're going to be splitting and shifting realities and everything. So I know it's following that, and that could be construed as me making a prediction. I'm just going off intuition, and I don't like telling people definitively that this is how it's going to happen. So I can tell you this is what's going to happen. I can't give you specific details on what will happen. Because once you start drilling in, the more details we add, the more our ego gets involved, and the more our ego gets involved, the less accurate it is. So I can say that, you know, this shift is going to happen, and we don't have to worry about the apocalypse because we can choose. And that statement would be true. But if I start adding more and more details, then my ego has to get involved. Then I suddenly don't want to be wrong. I play it safe, maybe. I don't know. The ego getting involved will make things complicated and will cloud the judgment and the mind. And because of that, I refuse to tell you what I think is going to happen exactly down to a T, because I don't know. All I know is that it will be okay, and we do not have to worry about the world ending. We don't have to worry about a grand apocalypse, judgment day, anything like that, because fear is a tool that was used by those in control to keep us controlled. And that is what I believe a lot of organized religion is. You know, everyone preaches, you know, the gospel, and yes, read the Bible. Definitely do that. If you're going to follow some religion, you should definitely read the texts. And my problem comes from the history, the human history of the community, the immense judgment that is thrown out there. And it is because of that that I say I do not belong to any specific religion. I'm definitely a monotheist, and I believe based off of, you know, the teachings of Dolores Cannon and the consistent message from the spirits that she's channeled there, that I believe a lot of what is said there. However, there are cases in her books where she will ask multiple variations of the same question to multiple people and get different answers. So again, believe in spirit, and that was the source of my disbelief, right? That was a crux. I was leaning towards believing that stuff, but I wasn't certain. I did know for the longest time, though, once I immediately gave up religion, I did believe that there was an afterlife. And my reasoning for that belief was that science dictates that energy can't die, it can only transform. Our consciousness is energy. And if that is true, then we just continue to live. And it just makes sense, especially because I had to take that and I had to also mirror it to my paranormal experiences, because I've talked to you about them before. I said that in yesterday's video, that you know, I've experienced paranormal encounters since I was younger. I actually did another video last year, back in, I believe it was June, about all the paranormal experiences, that I have suffered. And I'll put a link to that here somewhere or other. Check the description if nothing else. But it's one of those things where I've had experiences, and I know that there is a life that consists of after this physical experience. But I am not going to follow a human or judge others. And that is the problem that I have with most organized religions, and that is the human ego getting involved. You know, people are gonna try to convert you to their religion because, you know, they came to that conclusion that that is the right way. And then once you are of a part of that, then the ego kind of gets involved and judgment is cast, like, well, this person is going to, you know, maybe go to hell because of this, or they're going to reincarnate as a bug because they've done this, that, or the other. But, you know, even in the spiritual community, you know, that blanket term, spiritualism, even in that community, there is judgments abound. I remember when I was going through my second awakening, I definitely used to be like, I can't believe this person is wasting their life doing this thing. Imagine thinking that is important. And that is such a negative thing to come from, a negative space. So I was that was back in 2021. I was going through a second awakening, and then of course 2022 happens, and bam, I then am hit with this huge awakened event and carjacking. incident. And, you know, over that time period, I've just kind of relaxed. I tried to find balance, really practice what I preach. And it is in doing that I've come to terms and just realized that, you know, I was no better than anyone else, because I truly believed that I knew what was happening. And while I still have my beliefs and I connect with the one infinite creator and source, it's more so shifted from a place of judgment to a place of empathy. You know, I feel for these people, and I understand that they're doing what they have to do, because we're all just human beings having a human experience. And none of us are perfect, not even myself. I can try as hard as I can be to be perfect, but my emotions and my ego will always tell me to do one thing, to feel better. Like, everything can be going right, but I might be bored, and that will open up this void within me. And once you realize that balance actually does mean balance, right? You can experience, you can do things. You can ingest food that, like fast food, stuff that's not good for you, in a balanced way. As long as you're not overdoing something, then it's not in excess. It's not going to hurt you. But too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And of course, too much of a bad thing is always a bad thing. But today, March 11th, 2024. How did you all sleep last night? Let me know in the comments how you slept. I slept well. I woke up late in the day, so I took a couple melatonin when I went to sleep last night. So I was in this perpetual state of asleep and awake, but I felt well rested when I woke up. Well, I say that, but I'm also tired. Like, it's the strangest feeling ever. I feel cognitively focused, but I feel exhausted at the same time. And my wife is feeling tired today. My friends are feeling tired. My coworkers are tired. So we are all feeling this sense of exhaustion collectively as humans. So I'm interested in how you slept last night, my viewers, my light keepers. Did you sleep well? Let me know in the comments. Or are you tired? Let me know in the comments. Do you think I'm crazy? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate every single one of you. And really quickly, while I'm on the topic of talking about you all, I want to thank you, everyone, all the new subscribers that came through over the weekend. It means a lot to me that you would even consider subscribing to my channel and listening to me rant and ramble from the back seat of my car. But there's a lot more to come. Yesterday we did post a video about an ambient hike that I took. There's a lot more of those to come as well. I can't promise exactly once every week just because fluctuating of schedules, but that was the main reason I wanted a GoPro, was to do the 4K hike, the ambient hike, and we're gonna make sure that works for everyone. And then of course, as I mentioned yesterday, I am going to be returning to my hometown soon, and that is going to be the focus where I am filming a paranormal documentary. I'm gonna get some good interviews going on with some family, some friends. We are going to kind of go over the brief history of the area, because 3 of the 4 houses I lived in when I was a kid did suffer paranormal activity in. Mainly me. I can't guarantee that I have access to those properties. However, I will be going through the most substantial one, the most topical one. I'm struggling to find my word that I want to use the descriptor word again. So we're going to move on from that, but the most important one, and that is my dad's house, because we moved in there when I was 11. From night 1, I was hearing disembodied voices, and it just went from there. Again, if you want to hear a little bit of a recap on that, check out that video that I mentioned earlier. Check out that description where I talk about some of the most intense ghostly encounters I've had. And I'll actually be showing you these rooms, these areas within the house where that happened. So I'm really excited to be working on this and to be able to provide you all with that and take you on this ride. And I'm so happy that you all want to go on this ride with me. However, getting back onto focus, you know, balance is key, as I always say, and there is nothing to fear. I want you to write that in the comments, that I have nothing to fear, because the shift is coming. And while we are coming to an end of a phase, endings are only new beginnings in disguise. Change is chaotic, change is stressful, but it is inevitable. And as we come to the end of a phase and go through this convergence, and we are going to dictate where we come out on the other side. I can't necessarily guarantee we're all going to come out in the same timeline, but you know, I'm manifesting the best timeline. I'm hoping that you all are doing what you can to manifest the best timeline. You know, like, subscribe, share this, because the more we share the lack of fear, there is nothing to fear. The more that we share that sentiment, and the more we, you know, do positive stress management, the less negativity the forces of darkness have to feed on, and their influence will diminish. And in that, we are manifesting the best timeline. So that is how something as simple as liking, subscribing, and sharing can help propagate that. So yes, the shift is coming, change is inevitable, change is scary, but together, all of us light keepers, we're going to keep the light, spread the light, and we are going to manifest the best timeline. So that, again, that is a reminder to all of you that it is coming and that it is happening. And, you know, today is a special day. Humanity feels tired because, you know, maybe, just maybe, we are waking up today. Maybe this is very symbolic. Maybe it's very symbolic, and it's very interesting that I just came to that conclusion because, you know, I don't know. This is another reason why I do these videos. I talk and I come to epiphanies, essentially. Some could be false epiphanies. I don't know if that's even a thing, but you know, it could be a thing. All I can do now is channel the One Infinite Creator and see what they have to say. See what insights I get, because all I can do is go off that. That's all any of us can do. And again, if you do not agree with this message, that is totally fine. You can choose to dislike the video. You can choose to let me know in the comments. You can choose to do whatever you want, because I will never ask you to blindly follow me or just to blindly take my word for it. Because again, I am just a human having a human experience. All I can do is try to propagate a, you know, the best timeline, the light, and spread the word of no fear, the spread of light and love. So with that, that's all I have today for you light keepers. Keep your eyes to the sky. You know, coming soon when we have the eclipse coming on April 8th. I feel that's going to be another significant date, but that's also because that's what a lot of other people are saying. I think today might even be more significant, but the time period between now and April 8th will be very interesting. And I'm going to be, you know, doing these, you know, very regularly, letting you know any new insights that I get. So keep it right here. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. Again, I really appreciate every single one of you. My name is Ken. I'm also known as the Phoenix, and I will see you next time.